Hey everyone, ready to dive in. Today we're tackling something that's probably on everyone's mind at some point: finances. We're checking out 7 steps to start your financial safety net. This guide is amazing, by the way. It's practical, it gets you, and it's full of, well, let's just say helpful surprises.
Yeah, it's really good. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you've been managing your money for a while. There's something in here for everyone.
Totally. And I know a lot of you are all about keeping things clear and simple, which is exactly what this guide does. No jargon, just straight to the point advice. And speaking of which, it jumps right into something we all kind of avoid sometimes: figuring out exactly where we stand financially.
It's so true. Like you can't map out a road trip if you don't even know where you're starting.
Exactly. It's like finally finding your keys after turning your whole house upside down, only to realize they were in your pocket the entire time. You've got to know what you're working with.
Yeah.
And that's where, according to this guide, calculating your net worth comes in.
It's like a financial snapshot. The book breaks it down really well. You basically add up everything you own, your savings, investments, even your car, your house if you own one, and then you subtract everything you owe, like loans or any debts.
Oof. Yeah, debts. Those can be a pain. But seriously, knowing your net worth is like step one in building a solid financial foundation, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that this guide talks about how facing your finances head on can actually be empowering. The more you know, the more you can control. Once you have a clear picture, you can start making smart decisions.
I like that. Okay, so we've got our financial snapshot. What's next on this journey to building a safety net? Well, this guide is all about setting savings goals, and personally, I'm a sucker for a good goal.
Me too. And the guide emphasizes SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. It's not enough to just say, I want to save more money. You need to have a clear target. What's going to get you fired up? A down payment on a house, that dream vacation.
Having that vision is key. It's like picturing yourself on a beach in Bali or finally getting your hands on that vintage record player you've been eyeing. It makes all the difference.
Big time. And this guide also talks about breaking down those goals into smaller milestones. Because let's be honest, saving, let's say, $20,000 for a down payment, it can seem impossible.
Overwhelming for sure.
Yeah, but if you break it down, even saving $50 a week can feel a lot more manageable. Small steps lead to big results.
Right, like that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or in this case, a single dollar. Plus, there's something so satisfying about watching those little wins add up over time. It's like a financial high five to yourself. But we've assessed our finances, we've set our sights on the prize. What's next in building our financial fortress?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The guide talks about choosing the right savings account. Now, you might be thinking, wait, isn't a savings account just a savings account?
Okay, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Tell me more.
There's actually more to it. It's like, when you walk into a bakery and you think bread is bread, right?
Hmm.
But you've got sourdough, you've got rye, you've got baguettes. They're all different. Savings accounts are kind of the same. Interest rates, fees, minimum balances. You got to find what works for you.
So it's like, what? Finding the right savings account is like online dating for your money?
There you go. You wouldn't swipe right on just anyone, right? This guide breaks down the different types of accounts. You've got your traditional ones, the ones you usually find at a regular bank.
Right, right.
And then you've got these high-yield savings accounts. They usually have higher interest rates, and you might find them more online.
Hold on, back up a sec. You said higher interest rates. That's like a big deal, right?
Huge. That's how your money grows faster. This guide really stresses understanding those interest rates. It's basically how much the bank pays you to keep your money with them.
Yeah.
So higher interest rate, more money you make over time.
So it's like you're getting paid to save. Why wouldn't everyone go for the high yield option then?
Now, that's a great question. And the book gets into that too. High-yield accounts might sound awesome because of the rates, but they might also have different fees. Or you might need to keep a certain amount of money in there. You really have to look at the whole picture.
It's like a choose your own adventure, but for your money. Okay, so let's say we found the perfect financial match. What's next on this roadmap to financial security? Don't tell me it's budgeting time, isn't it?
You got it. Budgeting.
Mhm.
The word that can make people break out in a cold sweat. But honestly, this guide makes it way less scary.
Okay, because I'll admit, I used to think budget meant I could never have fun again. Like spreadsheets and rice and beans for every meal.
Right. But this guide really emphasizes that it's not about restricting yourself. It's about being smart and making choices that line up with what you want in life.
I'm listening.
It all starts with a simple idea. Pay yourself first.
Isn't that what payday is for?
Yeah, kind of. But what I mean is, before you even think about spending on anything else, you set aside money for your savings. The guide recommends making this automatic.
Okay, like setting up those automatic bill payments, honestly, that's saved me from a late fee disaster more than once. How does this automating savings thing work?
It's like putting your savings on autopilot. The guide suggests having a certain amount of your income. They recommend at least 20% automatically moved from your checking account to your savings every month, or every paycheck even.
So basically, the money's gone before I can even think about spending it. Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. This takes away the temptation to spend that money elsewhere, making you much more likely to actually reach your goals.
I can get behind that. But let's be real for a sec. Sometimes life throws curveballs. What about those unexpected expenses that just pop up and mess up our perfectly planned budgets?
Yeah, those unexpected expenses, they always seem to pop up at the worst possible time, right? Like when your car decides to have a meltdown or your phone takes an unplanned swim. It's like life's way of saying, surprise, bet you weren't planning on this expense.
Tell me about it. And that's why this guide stresses having a solid emergency fund ready to go. Ah, the good old emergency fund, like a financial safety net for those just in case life moments.
Exactly. This guide recommends having around 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved up and tucked away in an account that's easy to access, separate from your long-term savings.
Okay, so that way, if something unexpected pops up, you're not suddenly scrambling to cover costs, or even worse, racking up credit card debt or dipping into your hard-earned savings.
Exactly. It's all about peace of mind, knowing that you can handle whatever life throws your way without completely derailing all the financial progress you've made.
I love that. It's like having that sense of security knowing you've got this. But life can be unpredictable, things change, and sometimes our goals shift too, right?
Absolutely. And that's something this guide emphasizes. Your financial plan isn't meant to be set in stone. It should adapt and change with you as life throws those curveballs.
So it's less about being glued to a spreadsheet and more about checking in with yourself and your finances regularly, right?
Exactly. It's about staying flexible and being open to adjusting your plan when needed. Maybe you got a raise at work, so you can bump up your savings, or maybe you're facing some unexpected costs and you need to adjust your budget for a little bit.
It's about giving yourself permission to adapt and make financial choices that align with your current situation and your overall goals.
Now you're getting it.
Yeah.
You're in control of your finances. They don't control you.
This is why I love these deep dives. We take this dense financial stuff and make it actually make sense.
It's pretty awesome. And if there's one thing I hope listeners take away from all of this, it's that you don't have to become a financial expert overnight. It's about those small, consistent steps and celebrating those little wins along the way.
Couldn't agree more. And remember, you don't have to navigate this alone. There are tons of resources out there, financial advisors, online communities, and of course, we highly recommend checking out the guide we talked about today. 7 steps to start your financial safety net.
For sure. It's a game changer.
So to wrap things up, just take that first step. It doesn't matter how small it is. Start tracking your spending, put those savings on autopilot, even just visualize yourself hitting those goals. Every step gets you closer to a more secure financial future.
You got this.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive into building a solid financial safety net.